Can you just talk a little bit more about how the ball flight is mainly to do about where you are relative to the start
Sure.
point?
Well, there's only one moment in golf, and a lot of people point this out, that matters really, and that's the moment of impact. And most people are thinking along the lines of how to get themselves through a series of movements into the ideal impact position and impact alignments to send the ball to their target. And those alignments have far more to do with where you are than they do with how you swing. So if I make a swing, if I take Iron Byron, the robot, and I put it in a place where it's going to hit the ball off the toe, it hits the ball off the toe every time. I've put it where it's going to hit it off the toe, so its impact alignments are not with the center of the face. So when you've got something that has a perfect, supposedly perfect action, a repeatable perfect action, it has to be in the perfect spot and orientated in the perfect way in order to get the perfect shot. So what that tells you is that if we're sitting here trying to be perfect in our motion, we still have to be in the right spot and we still have to be orientated. So it's more about that. The success and the impact, the moment of collision is more about where. Now, another thing that people do when they're talking about positions of the swing and how to swing, and they're trying to get the club in a certain place, there's two things I want to say about that. The first is that how do they know, or how does a coach know that the person's going to hit it better somewhere where they've never been? They don't know that. Their tendencies and where they stand to the ball and all of this, you'll never know. If you've never been there, how would you know that it would be better there for you? So Jim Furyk, for example, taking it up here and looping it down here, how would we know that he would be better off doing something else? And I think what he figured out fairly early on is, well, I can play like this. So I don't know if I changed my swing if I'd be better or worse. So I'm just going to go with this. So I just think that before you start to try to manage where the club is swinging around you, understand that you may not even like what you get when you get what you want there. The other thing I want to talk about positions and the how of the swing. As I said, my swing is built around three principles. It's one motion in one spot. When I do that with my driver, when the golf club is, say, parallel to the ground the first time on the way back, with the driver, that has the club head somewhat inside my hands when it's parallel to the ground. With a 6-iron, it's outside my hands. I'm making the same action, but I'm doing it with two completely different tools. One's a lot longer. This end is already swinging faster with the same action by the time it's parallel to the ground than this one is. So relative to me, it's traveled further. So I was asked this question at the TaylorMade Kingdom in San Diego when I got on the 3D system, and Daryl, the fitter there, he said, how come your 6-iron's outside your hands here with with the 6-iron, and with the driver it's inside your hands? And I answered that question in that way. If I make the same action, I don't expect this and this to be in the same position because they're very different. And that's why I don't even look at those things. I'm not interested in those things because they don't tell me anything. The only thing that tells me anything is I know that if I'm more ahead of the ball, it'll start more to the right than if I'm more behind the ball. Won't do anything to how it's curving necessarily, but it will start generally based on where I am, is where the face will point when I hit the ball. Okay, now my distance from the ball, we're going to talk about three-dimensional aiming, I assume, at some point. My distance from the ball is also a factor in my path. Nothing affects your path to the ball. Since the ball is in one spot, nothing affects your path more than where you are. You can try to swing it however you like, but if you're going to assume at least close to center face hit on an object that's stationary, where you are has the greatest influence on that as well.